Happy Sunday, Mona.
Happy Sunday, Jeannette.
Okay, nice day today, though.
It is.
Yes,
No rain today.
I so loved it.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah. I am just glad that the frost, I've been worried about plants, and I am so glad the sun is shining on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah. I didn't show you the plant I was trying to grow, and it did well for about a plant and some other things I was doing, and then I didn't know I needed to cover it when the frost came, and now they're all dead. So I'm gonna try it again.
Try again.
Be sure to try it again. It was kind of fun, but it was very stressful. I didn't realize the darn thing needed to be watered every other day. It's like,
every other day, that's a lot. So well, try again. Keep trying.
Yeah, maybe I'm gonna try one time, or I get something artificial.
No, do not do artificial.
Why?
No.
I'm looking for beautification.
I know, but
it's a crazy thing. I have to set Alexa reminds me in the morning it's time to water the plant, and I'll be like,
well, if you got to do that, but don't get artificial. Nothing worse than, and please, folks, me, than going into somebody's house with artificial plants. It's like, or even worse, having somebody with a yard that has artificial plants in it.
This is on the front porch. Yes.
Okay, this doesn't make sense. But you know what, Mona? I can't get the Tuesday night election out of my mind. So, folks, y'all know Tuesday night in Texas, the Democrat Party delivered a result that's raising some familiar questions across Black America. I'm telling you, on TikTok, on Facebook, on YouTube, everybody's talking about what happened. Jasmine Crockett, as you guys know, lost. James Talarico, a name many of you never heard of before until now, won. So now the Democratic Party is asking everybody to come together to turn Texas blue. They think this is their chance now to turn. It's been, I think, 40 years since a Democrat won that seat, and now they think they could get it back with this particular, I'm going to call it race horse. So, but you know what? A lot of Black voters are asking a deeper question. If Black candidates must fight both their opponent and the political system itself, which it seems like Jasmine Crockett had to do, what exactly are we being asked to unite around? So tonight we're going to examine this moment honestly, not emotionally, strategically, because the question is no longer simply who won. The real question is, what should Black voters do next? That is the question. So we're going to go right into the countdown, do the intro, and let's get into it.
Independent, where we speak truth to power, unapologetically.
For too long, the Black vote has been treated like a given, but we're not property. We're not pawns. We are the descendants of those who built this nation. And now, we're demanding tangibles, not tokenism, because the era of blind loyalty is over. This is the Black Independent. Let's get to work.
Here we are.
Yeah. And we're in election season, so it's a lot of work to be done.
We are in election season. There should be 8 more months. At some point, I'm going to start doing a countdown. It's like many days. It's many days, because I really think Black voters, we need to focus on who's running and what are their qualifications. I'm not even sure qualifications matter anymore, but what will they do for the Black community? I think we've lost so much in the last year that there's a lot of ground to be made up. And so who sits in the seats going forward, it has got to be a priority for us. So
Absolutely.
I don't know. So
And
tonight's
our biggest, I think our biggest priority got to be making sure all Black eligible voters at 90% has to start voting. We have to some way motivate the people who felt left behind.
Yep. So
That's the hard test.
Yeah, so our focus really needs to be internal. We need to make sure that we are voting at 95% or better. We can't get everybody, but we Black people, we can get pretty darn close, that we're not just getting 95% of those who are eligible. We are adding eligibility. We are adding to the voter rolls. Because, it's that important, I think, at this point. So the episode tonight is not about personality. So we're not trying to talk about people negatively, but we want to understand that the political strategy is something we must pay attention to. But in Tuesday's Democratic primary for Texas, for the Senate seat, State Representative James Talarico defeated Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett. That's a fact. He's a rising national voice in the Democratic Party. Came out of nowhere, actually. He's a former public school teacher and a two-term state legislator. He campaigned as a moderate, a Democrat, and he positioned himself as a candidate who could appeal to a broader statewide coalition. The Christian coalition, I think, is a big focus of his. So in his victory speech, Talarico did what most candidates do after a primary. He called for unity. Now, I want to play just a little snippet of what he said. So if you can bring it up.
So he did that thing, let's all come together.
1 second. Okay, because what he says is important. Can you go ahead and bring it up for me?
It's up. It's just not playing.
Yeah, it's going to play now. All right, you know what?
I couldn't get the volume.
No, here's the deal. We're going to try that again because I'm asking you to bring it up, but actually I don't have it in an order that makes sense. It's going to make sense to you. So let me work this. Let me work this, baby. All right. So I'm sorry, I'm toggling around. So this is the one, add to the stage.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's on me. That's on me. And I got a lot of these things up.
Yeah, we have a lot of them. I have to put the numbers on them.
By thanking Congresswoman Crockett.
Can you hear that?
Turn the volume up.
Yep.
She is a colleague and a
That.
friend. I am so grateful for her voice and her leadership. It was an honor.
So I'm going to let that play twice so you guys can hear it.
To the Congresswoman's supporters, I know I wasn't your first choice.
Okay, here we go.
By thanking Congresswoman Crockett, she is a colleague and a friend. I am so grateful for her voice and her leadership. It was an honor to run this race with her. To the Congresswoman's supporters, I know I wasn't your first choice, but I hope to earn your trust and earn your support. As your Democratic nominee, it's on me to ensure you feel welcomed in, represented by, and proud of this campaign. Together, we're gonna do something extraordinary. We launched this underdog campaign 6 months ago in my hometown of Round Rock, Texas. And since then, tens of thousands of Texans have shown up to rally with us in every corner of this state, from Beaumont to El Paso, from Amarillo to Brownsville, and everywhere in between. We have recruited more than 28,000 volunteers.
All right, I'm thinking that's good. He did what they always do, right?
Sure.
They move on as if there was no issue.
Nothing happened. Nothing happened. Nothing that
Right, nothing to see here. Yeah.
that I let my handlers throw out hit pieces on you.
Yeah.
Forget about it. My hands was clean.
Right. So
Oh no, I didn't say anything to stop it or say I don't agree with this. Nobody
Right.
made him denounce anything.
nothing. He just went on with the assumption that always occurs as to how Black people are going to fall in line. So he did the thing. He praised Crockett. He thanked her for the supporters, and he asked Democrats across Texas to rally behind him to defeat the Republican candidate in the general election. So no real direct indication of what he will do to earn their trust or their vote, just a fall in line message.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
And I think that, go ahead.
They don't have to do anything. They think you
Yeah.
don't have any options. They, what are you going to do? He says,
Yep.
I am the nominee. So
Yep.
you fall in line.
Yeah, and I think people are wondering, it's like, so what's the big deal? Because on the surface, what he said sounds like normal politics. It's just how it's done, and we should accept that.
Yes.
Bite your bottom lip and just move on, so to speak. I think, but beneath the surface, there's a question that Black voters have across the country, not just in Texas, because they're confronted with this very same issue over and over and over. So why do Black candidates, particularly Black women, often have to prove themselves twice? Once against their opponent, and y'all saw this, and once against the political system itself. We saw that with Kamala. We saw that with Stacey Abrams. We see that with Jasmine. So tonight we're going to step back and examine that strategic choices, those strategic choices that are facing Black voters. And again, that's not just in Texas, but it's across the country as we move forward to the midterms. And the midterms, you guys, is November 3rd, 2026. That's in maybe 8 months or so. It isn't enough to defeat Trump's grasp on Congress. Do Black people need more assurances for their future well-being? I don't know. That's the question that we're going to try to answer tonight. Are we getting enough?
Well, we all know the answer to that. I would say no. What we are, the patterns that we're seeing, if we really look back over the scorecard per se, right? That you get these candidates out here. You mentioned Stacey Abrams and Jasmine, and these are the mouth, I would say, Black candidates building the grassroots excitement, getting people out there. This woman got over 1 million people to vote. She
Yep.
got the community riled up for the most part, the momentum going. And, then all of a sudden, the establishment says, yeah, we don't think you're safe. Yeah, we're going to go with the other guy. But be a team player.
Yeah, but be a team player. And I think
be a team player. And at some point, I've been saying this for a minute, and I've done it on 3 different. I've done it on a lot of races when I just knew that I could not vote for the person. I'm not going to vote for the person. That's just the bottom line. I'm not going to vote for the person. To be a team player, if they would have let this played out and he ended up winning, then that would have been fair, yes. But we know that they had their hands behind this. They know that the nasty ads that they were putting out.
Yeah.
I don't like to be used and don't get a thank you. You don't even get a thank you, because all they did was use her for the last 2 years.
For 2 whole years. I would agree with that. And you kind of watch that happen. And I think they make us believe that we are a part, that we're an important part of what makes the Democratic Party run. And when it comes to actually putting us in positions of influence, because they'll give us the smaller positions, but they don't necessarily give us the position where we are the ones in charge. And those are those statewide races that rely on not just people in your district, but the entire state or the entire country to vote for you. They don't trust us with that.
I don't like that word give. And I don't like the fact that they let us assume, because we got to stop being such dumbasses. And this is supposed to be a calm thing today. And what you just said, it just reflected, I reflected back on the Democratic Party here, the local election up against Vanessa Lester and Susan Badass. And when she didn't win, why is it okay when they don't win? She took her goddamn ball and went to the Republican side. She said, F you guys. You don't respect me. You don't think I should. Now, it was a fair thing. I don't know why she thought she should have won, because Vanessa thought she should have won too. But that's the difference between one race of people and the other ones, right? We want to stay there. Yeah, and nobody really, it was a little bit of fallout when she did that, but nobody really went after her.
Why is that?
She said after it because they too probably didn't want the Black woman as the president of the Democratic Party. She was okay as the vice president putting out all the fires. Your job is to keep Black voters in line. That's your job.
Wow.
And when she wanted to seek a higher position, it became a problem.
Yeah, and I think that there's, again, the pattern I think that we need to pay attention to.
Yes.
For a lot of Black voters.
They're fine. Hispanic women's, white women's, anybody. The gay coalition, every coalition is fine as long as we're helping them out.
As long as we are helping. As long as we are helping. But I have to say that again. We're the helpers.
And we need the help.
Remember that movie?
Yeah, we're the help. The help, yes. Yes.
Remember that movie, The Help?
Yes.
If we really had to sit down and think about our role over the last 400 years, but certainly the last 250, we have been the help.
Yes.
We have been seen as the help. And for the Hispanic immigrants and even Black immigrants that have come into this country, we've been relegated to that second-class citizenship where it was never expected that we would be president. And they're going to make sure that it doesn't happen again because we are seen as the help. So I think for a lot of Black voters, the Texas primary felt all too familiar. A highly Black visible candidate, strong grassroots enthusiasm. But when the dust settled, the party establishment did what it does. It coalesced around somebody else, usually described as, get this, more electable.
What that translate to?
White.
Yes, because every time I hear that word, I'm like, what does that translate to? I don't want to hear that. So why is he more electable? You wouldn't have thought Trump was more electable, but he was.
Why was he more electable? Because he's white.
But I'm saying, consider all of the other 7 white candidates. As it stood, he shouldn't have been more electable.
That's true. That's true, but
so I don't like that word when they use it up against us. Because you don't hear that word unless it's up against somebody. They don't think that the community. What I'm hearing when I hear that word is the party doesn't want to fight. Well, the party doesn't want to fight for your Black ass. It would cost too much. It would take too much energy. They can motivate. They can motivate the constituent, but it would take more energy, in my opinion, and that is not what they want.
Well, what they're saying without saying is, Kamala, Stacey Abrams, Jasmine Crockett, and a myriad of others, I'm sure.
Sure.
We know that this country is racist, but we're not going to say that this country is racist. We're going to put the onus on you. You are not electable. But why aren't these people electable? Because the country is racist. The majority in the country, at 48% of the voting electorate for Republicans, is racist. And there's a fair amount of that 42% that votes Democrat who has racist tendencies as well. So we think that the way that you talk, the way that you dress, the way that you wear your hair, the way that you do these things will not be acceptable by the majority. And that is what it boils down to. And I think we need to be very conscious of that because we've seen it in local races, we've seen it in statewide races, and even in national elections with Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris, many felt, was not electable. And then she had to work really hard to try to make it seem as such. But I think in the back of their minds, they kind of felt that she had Black tendencies. I mean, yes, she's married to a white guy, and yes, she has all these degrees, and yes, she had this experience, but her electability was always in question, I think.
Yeah, when you say, so I'm gonna tell you an experience from a local election when Sky White was running for
oh my God, yes,
county commission against Kim Oberman.
Yeah.
And she says, well, who's going to vote for her?
Wow.
Look at her hair. And I was like, what? What's wrong with her hair? Please don't say that. Because you don't know what the freak you talk. Look at your stringy ass hair. What are we doing? And, You know, unfortunately, she would have been an excellent, excellent county commission. And these people, and it would have probably been fine if she would have stayed in the district that they allow you to run in.
Okay, so that's key, what you just said. So in all of the races that I talked about, these were not like the House of Representatives, for example. You get to be pegged into a district of people that look like you, think like you, what have you. But when you're running for the more consequential seats, the seats like Senate and President and Governor, and you have to appeal to the masses. And white folks know that Black folks do not appeal to a large swath of the masses.
So why is it that white folks, any white folk, could appeal to the majority of us? Because even when you're doing local, now if you're in your district, that's fine. But when you're trying to do, say, countywide, citywide, it become a problem. When you're running for certain judgeship, certain seats, it become a problem. But we always just accept whatever is presented to you. Yeah. For the most part.
Because that's the way it has always been, except when we were fighting and pushing for civil rights. But in our day-to-day, we fall back into that comfortable level because it's hard to be fighting every day, 24/7. At some point, it's kind of like, okay, we fought for this, we got this, we're gonna rest a little bit. We're gonna rest a little bit. And then we have to go fight for something else. And then it's like, okay, we're gonna rest a little bit. And I think that it's, for example, a lot of the things in the last year that have gotten rolled back, that was a lot of fighting over a whole lot of the last 50 years.
Yes.
Crying out loud. Yes. It is difficult to push democracy to live up to its promises. And Black folks have done that all along. So now we're at this where we can fill positions of consequence. And now we got to go out to the population where we are 13% of that population. White folks are somewhere between 67 and around 65% of the population, maybe 70, right? They wield a whole lot of influence and we have to appeal to them. The way that we appeal to them is to become so assimilated into them. I don't want to say their culture because I really don't think they have a culture. We have to become them so much so that they're so comfortable around us that they can overlook my Black skin. And even that's difficult. So if I look and sound anything like Jasmine Crockett, that ain't happening.
And the first thing you hear people say, oh, I don't see color. That's about the craziest thing ever. I say, please don't say that to me. Because the first thing we see on each other is color. And then we'll identify certain things. We see, I want you to see my color. I don't want you to dismiss me. I see you as white. You see me as Black. What are you talking about? I don't think that's neither good nor bad. It's just is. I'm a Black woman. You're a white woman. You're a white man. There's nothing wrong with that. It is.
But the country has was built on an ideal that we would all come to this country into a melting pot, and we would then all be American. And American means, even to this day, it means white. And to the extent that we do not adopt the mannerisms and the customs of those first settlers that came through, we are un-American. And they hate the fact that we've had this much influence into the American culture that we've had. But they want to roll that. They want to roll it back.
How did they think we were all going to become? Did they think we were all going to become white? Because that
No.
melting,
Yeah.
that
They didn't
melting
really
pot-
want you here.
Well, shit, they brought us here. Why didn't they? What do you mean?
It's true, but after the Civil War, they were trying to figure out how to get rid of you. But that didn't happen because Lincoln and the Special Order, Sherman's Order Number 15, whatever it's called, was put in place so that we would stay. But the intent was to ship us all out to Liberia or something like that. So it's really it's interesting because we find ourselves in a position now where Black women, oh my God, Black women, we ready.
Yeah.
This shot right here, these are all judges. All of
Oh,
them are judges, right? That's who we are. And we've attained such heights that we are ready to step into major roles around the country. And we have more qualifications than any other group in terms of our rate. And they're saying, oh, hell no. That's what they're saying to us. Those women right there, we ready.
And think about, we need to see how many judges. We're going to have to interview all of the judges that are running in our local election, Jeanette. So
we are going to focus on judges. I stand corrected. These aren't all judges. This is a completely Black courtroom. So
okay.
All the positions in this, the lawyers, the judge, the bailiff, all of them.
Okay, because otherwise I was going to say, yeah, it's not a big thing, but I would look. But look, how many times have we gone into a courtroom and everybody that was white but you, the defendant?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Mm-hmm. But if they go into a courtroom, right? Yeah. They go into a courtroom and see that, they're like, they taking a bite. Like, what's going on here? No, we should see more of that.
Yeah, we should see more of that, but the fact that we're seen as much as we are is really scaring them to death. Mm-hmm. And that's why an authentic Jasmine Crockett, and she's been probably, and I would say Stacey Abrams was also very authentic. Kamala, she was playing the game way more than I was comfortable with. But yes, the authenticity of Black women running,
look, that could be our authentic Indian self,
Yeah,
that could be who she is, but she's definitely not ADOS authentic.
When Kamala was asked if it's a racist country, and she actually answered the question the way that she did, that was not authentic. That was, right. I don't care what color you are, that was not authentic. And I felt that she found herself in that position more often than not. So I don't know.
And look, I don't know why we can't be able to be adults and say yes, but we are hoping and moving toward more just America. What's wrong with saying that? Because everybody know it is.
But everybody doesn't want that. It's never been a just America, though. It's never been just America.
I said that we are moving towards.
No, we're not.
Well, at least you can say we're trying to.
Well, And
we were trying to Donald Trump got in there and reversed everything, but we wasn't trying hard enough, because you would think that from Clinton to Obama and to Biden could have done more things to change the trajectory of our lives here in America.
Yeah. I think that, and we've talked about this before, and I let's be clear on, America has never really had a democracy. No. And that's why Black people have been fighting the entire time to get America to live up to her promises. And other people, other groups have been able to take advantage from the benefits that we have fought for, that have been extended to everyone. So white men in America in power see us as the biggest threat, doesn't see the Asians as the biggest threat, doesn't really see the Hispanics as the big threat, sees the African American as the big threat, because we have been the ones that have been pushing for, I'm going to say equality, but equity with that equality. And they know that we understand the landscape, and they know that we understand the game that's being played, right? So they have to attack us. And that's why in the last year, we see such a big rollback in our benefits and our rights, because those are the things we fought for.
So let's say in 2026, do you believe that the Democratic Party truly invests in Black leadership, or mainly only relying on our votes? And we have to figure this out so we could know how to move forward.
Interesting question.
Yeah, what's your thought on that? Because I was thinking about that, and I was saying, could she, Jasmine, then decide if she wants to run as an independent for that seat?
She's not going to win, right? And
So
she won't win.
So
and we talked about. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Let me do a part two. We haven't had a Democrat in 40 years. If they thought it was so urgent, then they should have done something different. Let the Republican win the seat for another 4 years or 8 years, however long they run. I don't care.
I think you're that, no.
Yes. Because this is why they do what they do, because we're too afraid to bend. They know
I'm not saying it's fear. Yes, there is fear out there, but I'm not coming from a position of fear.
Where were you coming from?
Question. I'm coming from a position of, we fit to play chess. We fit to play a game. You play this game, now I'm going to get into the game. And the way that I get into the game is pretty much a study of you and how you have played this game. So let me just do this real quick. I want to play.
Hold on for a minute. I'm putting this down. You said this at 38 minutes and probably 16 seconds. And we're going to bet. And if you win, and we'll follow up in a year, and I'm going to put it on my calendar for next year, that if we give him the vote.
Mona taking some notes here.
Yeah, if we give him the vote, nothing would change for us.
All right, here's what I wanted. I want to play this woman, and I'd like, we got some people out there that are pretty unhappy with the way things are. So I want to stop blaming. Actually, I want to do Karen Hunter. Karen Hunter was taught, huh?
Yeah, no, I like Karen. What did she say?
Right. So let me, I'm going to go to Karen Hunter if I can figure out which one. Do I have her down here? Hopefully.
No, you got to do it on your end.
Yeah, I see it. I see. Share screen. Stop blaming. You see it?
Yes. Oh, she was with the man that tipped, the black guy that tipped.
All right, here we go.
Instagram. Okay, so I'm gonna say this real quick, and then I'm gonna go because I have some work offline I have to do today anyway. But
me too.
I know a lot of other Black women are probably feeling like this, so I'm just gonna say it out loud. Stop demanding that we give these white male politicians, these mediocre white male politicians, our undivided loyalty after we have seen people play in Black women's face. When we see an overly qualified Black woman passed up for a position that she's really already doing the work for, and we see somebody who's an okay candidate but can't match up to her, we see that man take office. Not just him taking office because he's a Democrat, cool, but we see the blatant racism, we see the hate, we see the Black woman be disproportionately targeted. Stop asking us to ignore that in the name of unity, and that's for Democrats. I saw somebody in the comments saying, well, Jasmine's calling for unities. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. And I respect Jasmine.
I didn't hear those Friday.
World I respect the most right now. But I also feel like that is something that can be done differently. Stop asking us to ignore that bullshit. Stop asking us to ignore that bullshit. Stop asking us to ignore that bullshit and give those mediocre white men our undivided loyalty. It's never going to happen. So if you want unity, address that shit. If you want support, address that shit. If you want us to stop the infighting, stop the division, stop fucking dividing us by mistreated Black women.
When I heard that, I was like, she is speaking. What I like about it is she's young. She's obviously young. And young people
and that's
are...
what I said. That is to feel, like somebody, as she young, so she has not even experienced what I have, say, in 60 years on this earth. She just got here. So, of course, yes, that's what I want. That's what I want. I don't give a damn about Boy Wonder, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't give a damn about the Democratic Party.
Right.
Whoever come to us and say, I could get you what you want. I could give you your demands. And if nobody say they could give me the demands, then y'all fight it out and we just exist. We're doing it anyway. But I'm not going to give him a goddamn job and I don't benefit from it. No, the politics is tangibles. We keep saying it. We keep saying it. We'll say it, but we don't expect it and we don't believe it.
Yeah, because we as a group, we haven't figured out what our strategy is. We don't know. So Black women have been among the Democratic Party's most reliable voters. Nobody's arguing about that. We are organizers and we are political strategists. We've been doing this for a long, long time. We mobilize communities, we organize campaigns, and they consistently deliver turnout. That's what we do. Yet when it comes to leadership at the highest levels, we're talking the highest levels, Black women often face an additional layer of scrutiny. Some of it is covert. We don't see it coming, but it's coming because the person we're dealing with is hiding it. And some of it is right there in your face. So the questions about tone or about temperament or about appeal in terms of, let's look at Jasmine, we can even look at Kamala on that, and I'm sure that was true of Stacey Abrams, and you could think of a myriad of other Black women who have wanted to run. In many cases, these critiques function as a coded language that allows voters and political institutions to express discomfort without directly acknowledging the bias behind it. Nobody wants to talk about that. This does not mean every loss is a result of racism or sexism, but it does mean those forces still shape how leadership is perceived in American politics, and Black voters understand that reality intimately. We know it when we see it.
We understand it better than anyone, right? And
better than anyone.
and particularly Black women's. And I don't even know if I could even say particularly Black women's, because when you look at somebody like Al Green, the Democratic Party decided to primary him. Why? Now we're gonna get somebody Black in that seat, because that's, that seat is safe. But they are now looking at him and evaluating him through a different lens.
But why is that? Do you know? I don't know. I do know that
they can't control, as long as you, and I don't want to call out people names, but as long as you if you don't fit in that box, if you don't fight the way they want you to fight, it becomes a problem. It becomes, you're angry, you're too aggressive. I don't think I ever heard anybody talk about Marjorie Taylor Greene the way she did, whatever she did. Right. And the bee was stupid. She wasn't even intelligent. She was about the dumbest blonde head, beach body, whatever the bees that Jasmine called her. Yeah. But she has a place in her party.
Yeah, because she played the role. She was playing a role. She wasn't authentic.
The role that they wanted. Now her role was to be their bulldog. And Jasmine, I thought oftentimes, I used to say, and I can remember even saying it to our friend Albert Field, she needs to calm down a little bit and let them fight the battle. She doesn't need to be the face. Nancy Pelosi, it was okay when they needed someone to go out and speak or go out against Marjorie Taylor Greene. She was the one. But I don't think it would have been, they couldn't have had anybody else in the Democratic Party. Nobody white certainly couldn't have done it and been effective as she was. And right. That's what we have to, it is almost as if this is your place in the establishment. Like everybody know they role. So this is your role. This is your silly. Don't try to crack it, basically.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's I think we need to look at strategy.
Well, strategy got to be, look, these people keep producing these outcomes. How, I like what the young lady said. I've been saying that for a minute now. I like what she said. Yeah. Let them figure it out.
Okay, so, and that's your whole thing that you keep saying, and I think even
a lot of people, you just said,
let them win. Here she says, let them win without our support.
Yeah.
So one option is disengagement, just totally disengaged. I get that.
Because don't you feel bad when you done all you could do to help them get there, and then they disregard you? We could say that with the mayors. When we just look here locally, I don't know. I won't say the same. I won't say this about our mayor now, Jane Castor, because she pretty much won without the Black votes. But it was a lot of people supporting her. But Bob Buckhorn won significantly with the Black vote. He probably got 90% of the Black vote. Mm-hmm. And people still asking to this day, what did you do for District 3 and District 5? Not a goddamn thing.
Well, hopefully he did something, because he's running again.
And he's running again. But, he come to your church. He come to your church. He smile. He come to your retirement party. He'll come to your 80th birthday party. He'll come to whatever you want him to do. But now when you want some tangibles, we just don't see it.
We haven't seen it. I'm curious if the new politician knows they have to do something, or they are moving on. But so
they don't believe it. They have to be shown.
Yeah, one option I agree is to disengage. I don't agree necessarily that that's the option we should take, but I'm hearing that more and more. And there's a third option, I think there's another option, that's protest. We could protest the vote in whatever way that.
Or how that look.
It could be a lot of people protested by voting for a third party. So that's
Yes, we could do that. We should run somebody independent. I just said that. Jasmine should run as an independent. We could run as independent, and we could probably get some of the other people who aren't happy with either party as well.
Well, traditionally or typically that has led to sabotaging maybe somebody who might favor some of the policies that you put forth in favor of the cuckoos over there on the right wing. So I don't know that the protest vote would serve as well even today. Even Jasmine Crockett had people who said, I love her, but I can't vote for her because I want to win. That will happen with an independent run. Yes, definitely.
Well, it'll be a few people who.
It will be more than a few.
No. Yes.
There will be people that said the calculation or the risk is too much.
It'll be those who want to call themselves liberals, who know they're not, and might be liberals, but they're white liberals and looking out still for whiteness. And this is something safe for her to say, but she had no intentions of voting for her, even if she thought she could win. Because they do not. I remember when Harris was running, and I saw it somewhere, and I was trying to find it for tonight. And this white woman said, who was a Democrat, said, listen, in her lifetime or her children's lifetime, there would have been 2 black presidents, and she didn't want that. And I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, that's crazy.
And she was a Democrat. And I'm paraphrasing pretty much how she said, I'm gonna have to find that. And she said that's why she wasn't going to vote for Harris. She was going to vote for Donald Trump. Because it was something about her children. Her children would have had 2 black presidents. And that was something she just couldn't deal with.
Did it matter to her that all my life I had a bunch of white
and all
men.
of our ancestors? No, they don't care. So this is what I'm saying about, and then people will just have to.
But you're not changing that. You're not changing that with a disengagement or a protest vote. What I think, though, is you do have another option, but it is going to require that Black folks and white folks, but Black folks are going to have to work. And that is some type of strategic coalition politics. And I think we have to have a strategy. We have to have a game plan. I think that they rallied around Talarico, the Democrats, not just Texas. The Democratic Party rallied around, decided he was their person, or their Trojan horse, I like to call it, to ride into victory. And I think they're using the sort of the Trump strategy of, and I'm going to call it the Trojan horse strategy of, we're just going to pile on Trump and everything that we need because he's inexperienced. He doesn't know what he's doing. Yeah, he's a crackpot and he's crazy and he's very transactional and he wants something. But this is how we're going to run. I think the Democrats on this side are looking for Talarico types. That's it. So if a candidate like Talarico can ultimately become the Democratic nominee, Black voters have the right and the responsibility to ask a very direct question. What will the Democrats, Talarico, do for the Black community? I don't think you should move forward or backward. You stand firm on what will you do for the Black community. There's no voting without an answer to that question, because support should not have to come as if it's automatic. And right now we've been working on this automatic cycle of just voting Democrat, even though, as my niece says, and she says, I don't say it right, they play in our faces, right? Mm-hmm. They continuously play in our faces and we let them. We let them. we can begin negotiating. And I'm hoping that people hear this and understand all is not lost, but you do have to come together and begin negotiating for the Black community. And it has to be somebody who really understands the needs of the Black community, and not somebody who's going to go over there and compromise our rights away. And we know the types that compromise, overly compromise, and the types that fight. They do not like the types that fight us. They don't like that type. They like the overachieving negotiators who give away more than we get. So historically, many successful political movements have operated exactly this way. I do believe the gay movement moved in that way. And look what they got, gay marriage, although they're taking it away. Offering support in exchange for clear policy commitments. And that is where we tend to go wrong.
I don't know. I think we have asked. I think we have asked. The problem has to be moving forward in any city in November. Every Democratic, not just in Texas, but across the United States, that if you get our votes, here's what we want. And this has to be an agreement for all of them. And they all have to be on the same, and everybody has to agree to it. Because let's say he say yes, and the other senators say no. Then he says, at least I tried. So we get something like Biden, who said, well, I did try, but I was trying to do bipartisan, and we have to say these things. We have to be very clear, and we're not very clear.
We're not clear, and
on our demands.
We're not clear on our demands because we don't all agree on what that should look like or what it is. We do not agree, and I think Lynette makes a really good point. Asking the "What are your plans for Black Americans?" question does not mean the candidate will deliver what they say they will do.
Yes,
and that is always true. That is always true. But there has to be at least. It's like playing chess. You make a move, they make a move, you make a move, they make a move. Maybe their move is something that you didn't anticipate. We have to get in the game is all I'm saying. And right now we're not playing the same game. And yes, there's always that risk, but we're not even playing the game. And the reason why we're not playing the game is we are not all in agreement on what that thing is that we want. Tell me, and people will say, well, yeah, we want housing, we want da-da-da-da. Yes, we want housing, but we want to be able to afford the housing ourselves without having to get all of these special what have you. And there's a large group, a growing group that want reparations so we can go get our own thing. Now, that is likely something that is not going to be on the table. So let's say that's not on the table. That's the first thing that you want. But maybe what you want is Voting Rights Act. You want that. You want police reform. You want that. These are things that you are building towards maybe the bigger question, because now you're putting people in place that will pass policies that are more favorable to the Black community. So you say to Talarico, you say to Roy Cooper, I think it is his name in North Carolina, that when they talk, they don't talk about any issues that really are Black specific. They talk to the general population, but Black folks have got to get used to asking for voting rights reform. You got to get used to DC statehood. You got to get used to Supreme Court expansion. Those things, those structures that are in place now that are not working for you. There's a lot of the structure is not working for us. It's working against us. And maybe, and this is where I get into my whole Trojan horse theory, maybe what we need to do is do what the Republicans did. They rode Trump all the way through. Trump is like a horse that now needs to, you know how the horse breaks his leg and now you got to get rid of him. I want to say you shoot the horse. You do shoot the horse to get him out of
You
his.
do have to shoot the horse. Yeah,
Right.
you have to shoot the horse. I mean,
They realize they're now at that point where they've got to shoot the horse because the horse is screwing up the entire world, and they know they have ridden in, and now they need to be able to do what they want to do without interference from Trump's chaos. So Democrats need to do that, and I think Democrats are doing that. And they're doing that likes of Talarico, because Talarico is inexperienced. Trump, inexperienced. Talarico, he has this knack for maybe appealing to a larger part of the white vote, the Christian vote.
How even is that true? I've been hearing, I heard him speak on the trans issue and the gay issue.
Right.
So how in the world, in Texas is a Bible Belt, part of that Bible Belt system. How in the world do he think he's going to get Republicans to convert to vote for him? It's not going to happen.
Yeah, I think it's going to happen. I don't think he's going to get the hard. Yeah. He's not going to get the hard line, what have you, but he's going to get enough of them. I mean, the Republicans vote, the voting electorate for the white population is 48% with Republicans, give or take, and 42% with Democrats. They just need to peel off a percentage, and they're doing the math. And with that, they're going to get some Black voters. They're really counting on the Hispanic voters. So yes, he's probably writing off the Black voters in a large way, but he's going to focus on those Hispanics who are white adjacent, and they love that position of being white adjacent. But I keep saying Trojan horse, so let me talk a little bit about what that is. I said ChatGPT. Folks really need to understand what we're talking about when we say Trojan horse. And if you listen to it, you're going to say, yeah, that's what's happening with Trump. And yeah, that's about to be what's happening with Talarico. So what is a Trojan horse? So I asked ChatGPT, and it said the Trojan horse comes from an ancient Greek story about the end of the Trojan War. According to Greek mythology, they love their mythologies. After fighting the city of Troy for 10 years, the Greek army could not break through Troy's walls. So they devised a trick. Sounds familiar. The Greeks built a large wooden horse and hid a group of soldiers inside it. They left the horse outside the city gates, and pretended to sail away. They pretended to sail away after they built this horse, right? The Trojans believed the horse was a gift of surrender and brought the doggone horse inside the city. That night, the Greek soldiers climbed out of the horse because they built the horse. They climbed into it, parked it out there, fooled the Troy. The Greek soldiers climbed out of the horse, opened the gates for the returning Greek army, and Troy was destroyed from within. The modern meaning here: today, the term Trojan horse refers to something that appears harmless or beneficial, Talarico, but actually hides a hidden threat or agenda inside. For example, in politics, it's a policy, it's a party, or a politician that secretly advances another goal. In technology, and Trump did that wonderfully well to do all of MAGA. In technology, and y'all know this, malicious software disguised as a legitimate program. In short, a Trojan horse is deception, used to gain victory and defeat an opponent from the inside. That is what we're up against. That is what we're up against. And I do believe that is what's going on with the Democratic Party with Talarico. Talarico doesn't really have real extensive federal experience. He doesn't even really have a lot of state. Yes, he's two-term state, but he was a teacher prior to that. And he's very conciliatory. So he's not going to fight real hard on anything, especially if it's for a specific group, a Black group. Think about that, folks.
So what is his position as Jasmine? I can remember when the immigration, ICE and all that, she was really the only one we basically heard speaking on that. And that was for the Hispanic, and they repaid her by 36% of the vote? What is this position? What is this position? Do you know?
I can't say what his position is on, you talk about immigration?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Jasmine spoke on immigration on ICE. He did not. He just did the sort of the niceties around it. And I say the niceties.
He has to have no policy, nothing in line what he's going to do. This is what I don't understand. So I like your analogy for the Trojan horse. What is ours? We have to put something in place.
Well, so if a white candidate is more easily accepted by the broader electorate, right? Mm-hmm. That candidate may sometimes be able to carry policy positions that a Black candidate might struggle to advance electorally.
So what
all I'm saying.
Right now, no, because right now it is nothing that we could ask outside of reparation that a Black or white candidate cannot carry. And if that white candidate isn't willing to fight for reparation, then I'm not buying that one.
Right. So y'all, we're not just talking about Talarico. Talarico is an example.
All of them.
But it is, he would be one of 50 senators, and you need the majority vote, and it needs to be a filibuster-proof majority in the Senate. And we need Roy Cooper, him, and anybody else so that we can get 60 votes in the Senate. That's what we need to be working toward. Now, whoever these people are that we get into those seats need to understand what the Black issues are. So the voting rights, John Lewis voting rights bill needs to be just not, I mean, you're obviously going to support that. But I also believe DC statehood.
No, not really. No, not really. And Roy Cooper, he was the mayor. I mean, I told you what happened with him. If he wanted to do anything in particular for ADOS or the Black community,
I understand that.
He could have did it. Not the mayor, he was the governor, and he did not do it. He did not do it. So, you know, even him, I said, let him
all of them
let him fight that race himself.
But it gets back to Black people being very clear on what the demands are. All right, why are you looking like that?
Because right, I think we've been clear. They know what the goddamn demands are.
No. We need to be consistent. Y'all say that all the time. Like they know that we've been very consistent. We're never serious
for anything. We've been as him as the governor. The main thing is justice reform, right?
Right.
That has been consistent for the last 15, 20 years I know of.
Right.
The prison, rolling all of this stuff back. He let a man sit in prison for and he knew the guy was innocent. He knew the man was innocent.
Yeah.
They're building all these prison things for for nobody but your black ass, right? So
Right.
they do know some of the things, and if they was legitimate, or if they cared, or if they respected our votes, they would have done some of these things.
They neither need to be, as you say, legitimate or care or respect. They need to be forced into a position of, you do this for me, I will do this for you. But we need to come together as a group, make the demands, be transactional. Trump is transactional. They hate Trump.
The only way we're gonna be able to force them to do anything is we have to show them. The only way we're gonna be able to force them to do anything, we have to show them what? That we didn't participate. Stand down, and they'll say, "Damn it, we do need them." That's the only way, because we have been doing everything you're saying.
No, but we're not going to stand down. You know why we're not going to stand down? Because we can't even come together on whether to stand down or not. And Black folks, and I can just hear a lot of the people that I maybe interact with, they're not going to stand down. So we may as well develop a strategy of how we will move forward, understanding that nothing is foolproof, but I just don't believe standing down. And I know you've been saying this for now 3 years.
You're gonna develop that strategy in 8 months.
I think it's a fair question for you to ask, but I don't know. I hate to say I don't know on the show, but I don't know.
Yeah, because we're not going to do it. And the only way we will be able to have any guts. Now, we'll vote for certain things, local.
No,
I still vote for certain things. But some of these people, we have to just show them.
I know, but here's what I think. All right, here's what I think. So we know that Obama was in first Black, but that he was up against a whole lot being the first Black, because the country ran in a certain way that there were other people pulling the strings, and the person in the presidency has traditionally not been the one who really controls what happens in America. Trump, to some extent, is changing that. Even he, though, has to bow to the people who are actually pulling the strings. So, but it's a different kind of relationship than with Obama. Obama was doing what I think was the typical Black man who rises even in corporate America, but who knows that white men are still in charge. And if they want to keep that job, they follow whatever the protocols are in place. I know this, having been in corporate America. I know how that works. I also watched Obama make promises in terms of the hopes and dreams of Black America, and all of that come crashing down because he really did not have that kind of power. So while historic in many ways, he faced limits when it came to advancing policies that were perceived as specifically targeted toward Black Americans. But this does not mean abandoning Black leadership, but it does mean you find yourself a Trojan horse. And the Trojan horse is not necessarily Black, but it's someone that you get into the system in a powerful position that is willing to carry your water. And we have not done that. And I'm saying to you, this is not necessarily a Black person, unless you have a Black person like Obama who really knows that he's just playing the game until he can strike. But that's hard to find within the Black community.
No, I'm not saying that they have to be like, and even, if this guy Talarico was, more qualified than Jasmine. I wouldn't even have an issue with that. But this guy is so not qualified.
That's true, but that's also not for politicians that are going to pull the strings. That's a good thing for them. That's a good thing, right?
Sure.
They don't want him to really know what he's doing. That's why Trump was so successful with the Republicans. They don't want him to know what he's doing because now he's got to follow their playbook until he does become much more adept at the role. He's not strong enough or confrontational enough to do what maybe a Jasmine Crockett would do. So the question is, can Black voters use their political influence just as they have used their cultural influence to shape American society? Can they shape the agenda of candidates who depend on their support? Can we shape candidates? That's the question.
And I say yes. But
How?
that yes is only going to come when we have a voting block and we get behind one candidate. Well, all of those votes going to that candidate. It is the only way. We can either do that or
How do we do that though? How do we do that? Let's say 95% of let's
use
how do we do that? How do we do that?
Let's use our local mayor. Let's use our local mayor. Okay. So we have I think 6 candidates that we know is running right now, right? We have a young guy, Alan Henderson. He's Black. I think it's another guy, Reginald. I can't think of his last name. A new guy. He's also Black. We have Lynn Hertek, Bob Buckhorn, and those are the ones I could think of off the top. So that's 5 or 3 white people, 2 Black people. If we get behind one of the Black candidates, because at this point, I think anybody could do the job. And I like the young guy. And if we could all get behind that guy and put him in office and he could win outright.
But you won't do that. You won't do that. Did you hear me? You will not do that.
I know. Do we have to call these other people out? We have to call these other people out. We got to call out the gatekeepers. Because the gatekeepers are keeping us in this cycle.
Right. They are keeping us in this cycle, but I'm gonna try. So Reggie Strachan, I don't know if I'm saying that. It's 794A says I disagree, and I think he was disagreeing with the position I had on the Trojan horse.
That's the guy who's running for mayor. That's one of the candidates.
All right, so he disagrees, and I'd really be interested in knowing exactly. Well, we're doing that now. We're doing that now to say, I'd really like to know what exactly he disagrees with, whether doesn't matter if it's a Black candidate or a white candidate, whether, what's the point of disagreement? Because what we've been doing to date has not worked. And I also think that if the popular candidates, let's go with the mayor's race, if the popular candidates are, let's say, Bill Carlson and Lynn Hertek, and you've got, is Gary still running?
Oh yeah, Gary Hartfield. Mhm.
Is he still running? Okay. So if you've got those three, then to me, the black group, the black folks need to go and sit down and talk with each one of them,
Mhm.
one of them,
Mhm.
and give each of them, let's say they're your front runners, give each of them that opportunity to say, I'm going to get, because now they've got a built-in group of voters anyway. But if you can say, I'm going to bring you the 13 or whatever the percent of the voters are here, that's a big deal. That's a really big deal, because they've already got a built-in voter following, and you're just going to add to that. If you
Sure.
go with someone that's a newbie and you're going to be the majority of what that person gets, it is likely that you're not going to be able to make demands. The demands will not be there. A black
Right.
candidate me will smash the status quo. I love the confidence. Let me put that up. I was just reading one of the I'm hoping I say his name right. Do you know how to pronounce his last name?
I don't recall.
Y'all, this is Reginald Strahan or Strachan. He is running for mayor, and I just like to give people shout outs. Thank you for participating in the conversation. And I love the confidence. And you should be a part of the conversation as well. Black people have to start moving as a group and looking at who are the mayoral candidates and sitting down and saying, and here's what we're looking for. If 568 needs to be one of the major issues, that needs to be, somebody should be talking to them right now about 568.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right? Because in Tampa, that was an issue that got scrapped because the federal government says, we're going to come for you if you do anything special for Black folks.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So there's a conversation that needs to be had, but it certainly needs to be had right now. Right now.
What do you think about candidates? Let's say that should we, moving forward, look at candidates who are sitting in office and now running either again or for a new position? Should we, and they want our vote, and they'll say, well, I'm friends of the community. And then we say, I like to say, show me what you've done for the community. I don't need another friend. We don't need any more friends. Show me what policy you put in place. Show me what you voted. Show me where out of that budget, how you made sure a percentage of that went back to my district. Show me that. That is where we got to go.
That is where we have to go. You're absolutely right.
We keep voting for these people because we do know them. We like them. They come to our events. But we have to wake up and realize that this system isn't working the way it's supposed. We're not getting a fair share of the pie. And we haven't gotten a fair share of the pie. I no longer even want a fair share. I want a majority of the pie. Because of the like of the pie.
So you want equity adjustments. Yeah, equity is now a bad word in society because Trump has decided that it should be equality, not equity, and he's saying equality for whatever reason. But
we're gonna, next Sunday we're gonna. Is next Sunday the 15th? I'm not sure, but I think it's next Sunday we're gonna have candidate Quentin Robinson interviewing, and I like what he's talking about.
Yeah. So. Who you like? Who's talking about?
Quentin, the candidate running for District 3.
Oh, we are having Quentin on the 15th.
Is that next Sunday?
Yeah.
Okay.
You want? Okay. All right. Yeah, I've made some other promises, not promises, but.
What are you talking about? That's been on the calendar for a minute.
don't beat me up. Don't beat me up. See, I pulled back and said, oh, okay, I'll have to make that.
Yeah, the calendar has been filled out for the month. So what? Yeah. So I just know it was coming up. I did check it out, and I know his was coming up, and I think that's gonna be an interesting, because we got to really start talking to these candidates, because I think we just vote for people we know.
We just do. We just do.
And we just been wasting time. We just been wasting time.
Because we have no strategy. No strategy.
Right. And we don't want to hold these candidates accountable. And they say stuff like, it is not something I could do. I mean, what are you there for if you can't get the stuff done?
The country has not really run in a way that they wanted to get things done. Again, Black folks have been on the I don't want to say cutting edge. They've been the ones who've really been pushing and pushing and pushing. And if we're not for Black folks in America, democracy would have been gone a long time ago, which was never here. But even the idea of democracy would have been gone a long time ago, and we would have been a fascist, under a fascist government, period.
And I think,
yeah,
I think we have to wake. We have to wake the people up, because you could almost see, we could see, if we look back over the playbook, right? They'll get the gatekeepers and they'll come out and say, oh, you guys know me, we're going to support this person. And we can't do that anymore. We can't do that anymore, because by us supporting that person, it has not benefited our community. It just hasn't.
Right. So, the Texas race wasn't just about Texas. And I know that we've spent now 2 Sundays talking, or 2 sessions talking about what went down in Texas, because the same was true for the North Carolina race, where Governor Cooper, who has a similar temperament, I noticed, that Talarico has. He sailed to victory in his primary, and he's positioned to win. This seat all but guarantees the Senate if all else holds steady. And the Democrats are chomping at the bits. They want the Senate, and I want the Senate. I'd like a filibuster.
We need the Senate.
Right.
Of course.
So but it reflects the broader challenge facing Black voters. Agree or not, the midterms is coming, and we're not necessarily ready for it. So across the country, Black voters are asking the same questions right now. How should we deploy our political power? We want to know that. How should we do that locally? We just talked about that, even from a mayor's race standpoint here in Tampa. How should we deploy it statewide? We haven't really had the Senate or the House in such a long time, or the governorship, right? Mm-hmm. How should we do it nationally, which is where I like to live a lot with, what are we doing nationally? I would argue, how should we even do it or pay attention from an international standpoint? How do we, when we're impacting policy in the United States, how does that affect other countries where people like us live, right? What does that look like to have that kind of power? What, or when should we prioritize representation? And how do we start moving toward getting representation at the various levels? And when should we prioritize policy outcomes instead? We don't know, because we don't have a strategy. Those questions don't have easy answers, but they are the kinds of strategic conversations communities like ours we have to have if we intend to shape the future of America, rather than simply react. I don't want to react.
Yes, and that's what we've been doing. When we look at the Texas outcome, and even though she got a little over 1 million votes, it was still a lot of people who didn't vote, who she couldn't reach. And I believe that's the problem, because we have the Black Caucus, we have the NAACP, we have the Divine Nine, you got the Urban League. I don't know.
All of
And,
those people.
and we have all the churches. And when we say we don't have money, I don't think money is the issue. We have the people to make sure that we're registering every Black eligible voter and making sure every Black vote. I mean, we could do that. It's simple as that. I just
I had to mute because of Moses. I'm sorry.
Oh,
I had
yeah.
to mute because Moses was like
Tell
yelling at me.
Tell Moses hello.
Yeah, I'm gonna kick Moses in the butt in a minute, but he just got ushered out of the room. I really feel like, and I think we're kind of getting to the end of this conversation, but at the end of the day, political power is not only about who wins an election. And I think if we can it's not just about who wins. It's about what do we gain when the election is over? What did the Black community gain when the election is over? And I don't know if we've ever been that results oriented or results focused when it comes to who we support.
Mm-hmm. And can you tell me anything we have gained in the last 10 years? Let's say 20 years.
As specific to the Black community, because, you know, people say, well, we got healthcare and we got.
Yeah. I'm not talking about everybody. I'm talking like the gays. They got what the gays wanted. It didn't benefit nobody but them. The Asians, they got what they wanted. What have we got?
And that's the problem. So I've already thought about that, and right now I'm just going to tell you absolutely nothing. And anything that we think we might have gotten that everybody else got, but they think
we got it as a collective. We got it as a
collective. And because we were benefiting, they got rid of it. I like this comment here. Reggie says, you need a candidate that does not take no for an answer.
Oh, they all say that.
Also, I'm not scared of the dominant society, Hispanic or Caribbean. Yeah.
But that's what they all say. We hear that all the time. But listen, that's what I'm saying, Jeannette. This is what I'm saying, that we already get, by living in America, what you're going to get. We can sit the race out and let it be what it's going to be, and then prepare for 2030. When is the president? 2030.
When is what?
The president election.
Oh, the presidential election is 2028.
No, well, we're in 2026, 27, 2028. Okay, 20. Yeah. Okay, then prepare for that.
No, we don't even know who we have to run for that. And right now, the name that
you already said it doesn't matter who runs. If the Democratic Party want to win, here's what we want.
Right, it doesn't really matter. But you know, I'm going back to the Trojan horse. You know, we have to figure out how to hitch our wagon, if you will, to the candidate that we know will carry our water. And it doesn't have to be Black. It just has to be someone who knows that we're going to bring power to that candidacy. We will bring the power to that candidacy. The unknown is, can we garner enough of us to back one candidate from the start all the way through? And will that candidate carry the 5 or 6 or 7 things that are important to us? And I'm not talking about these low-level small positions. I'm talking about major positions with national implication in terms of how Black people are repaired, how Black people, changing the structures so that good policies really can in fact get through. And right now we just don't have that. We don't have a Supreme Court we can trust. We don't have a Congress we can trust. We don't have a president we can trust. We don't have a governor we can trust. I could go on right down into, we don't have a county commission or maybe even a city council. We're not all in agreement around what should happen.
I was going to say, what does that trust look like and what should we get? Because we live here in the city of Tampa, and do we have any of that, these people we could trust here? That's majority Democrat.
Mm-hmm. My family is having some issues right now, so I'm like, give me 30 minutes, y'all. Give me 30 more minutes. But
well, we're about done. We are at the.
Let me close, okay? So yeah. So here's what we know, the knowns and the unknowns. But here's what we know for sure: James Talarico won the primary. Mm-hmm. He's a 37-year-old former teacher and 2-term state representative. He now becomes the Democrat Party's candidate heading into the general election as one of 50 senators who will prioritize policies and laws impacting the Black community, either positively or negatively. Mm-hmm. For us, we want the John Lewis Voting Rights Act. We want DC statehood. We want Supreme Court expansion. We want Black specific repair, among other community priorities. We should not be afraid to ask for these things as a group collectively. The Democrat Party is betting that his profile, being moderate, Christian, and able to appeal across different groups, gives Democrats their best chance to compete statewide in Texas, in the country. That's what the Democrats believe. His profile becomes their Trojan horse. That is now a reality of the political landscape we find ourselves in. But the larger questions remains open. What does Black political strategy look like in this moment? Is it total opposition? I listened to Karen Hunter the other day, and she said, no, it is not total opposition. Is it conditional support? If you do this, then we'll do that. Is it that? Or a more calculated use of political leverage? You know, the Trojan horse game plan that I talked about earlier. As always, the answer ultimately lies with the voters themselves. In this case, you, the Black voter. We'll be watching closely to see how that conversation unfolds. Talk about it, folks. Not just in Texas, but across the entire country. We only have 8 months before that election. And here on Black Independent, we are Black Independent. We'll continue interviewing candidates leading into the midterm elections to find out who is truly prepared to address the interests of Black voters. So I'm going to ask you guys to stay tuned. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Share the link. Have the conversation in your homes and with your friends. I don't know. We got a lot of work to do. Mona, we got a lot of work to do.
A lot of work to do. And I believe it could get done. And we have to take, I'm not saying baby steps, but steps. First thing we need to do, and we should be able to do this fairly quickly, is getting people registered to vote. That's the first step.
That's a wonderful step.
That's the easiest thing to do, is making sure everybody is registered to vote. We need to bring all our organizations together, all our church leaders, and figure out how we're going to divvy out all of the requirements that we need to do to get the people moving and motivated.
Motivated.
We got to get the people excited to vote. Just to say we have an election and there's no hope, there's nothing exciting, they don't have anything to look forward to, it's not going to happen.
So the way to do that too, I agree with you on the register to vote, but also really understanding the rules around voting so that we don't get on election day and realize that maybe our precinct has changed and whatever else.
Right.
So as you register people to vote, you need to probably follow up with them to say, okay, you got your card. Sure. Let's talk about where you go to vote. And we need to figure out how do we have this communication channel that allows us to beat the Republicans at their game to suppress voters. It's going to be, we've already seen with Jasmine Crockett, it's going to be they're going to implement the same thing across the United States. They're going to find ways to keep you confused. So,
and those of us that know we're dealing with the devil, certain type of devil, we know that.
Evil. Yes.
It's neither good nor bad, it just is. We're dealing with the devil. We have 2 weeks prior of early voting. Why wait till election day?
Yep.
Why wait till election day? We cannot wait till now. Some people who've been voting forever and they like to vote on election day, they know where their precincts are. That's fine. But
well, still, I need you to check it. I still need you to check it because that's the problem they have in Texas.
Definitely have to check it because they had, they changed last year the precinct.
Right, and they're purging people too.
Every year they're changing, and yes, and these things are small things that can be done immediately. And with that being said, Jeannette.
It's been a pleasure as always. Thank you so much for just great conversations. Great conversation.
Yes. Great conversation. We're going to continue these conversations and we will maybe once a week we'll have a candidate on.
Yep. It looks like we need to have Reggie Strahan on. He says, I'm not a politician. I'm a part of the community that has seen and suffered through the system. Mona, you are one that has been blocking me. What? You blocking my man?
What does he mean?
Reggie, we're gonna speak with you because we really need all hands on deck. And
well, what does he mean about blocking him?
I don't know. You are my Benedict Arnold melanated. You know how you are.
I can't see the comments, but
you know how you are.
I don't.
You know how you are. So we're gonna have to go and talk with him.
I noticed our Facebook friends, but
he's got to know you're all right.
he can we are like independent page.
Yeah, like our page. Reach out to us. We definitely want to talk with you for sure. And Gretchen, I just want to give a shout out to Gretchen since we have a few minutes. Have a good night and thank you for the platform. Thank you, Gretchen, for following us.
Always, Gretchen.
We appreciate you significantly. Yes. So good night, everybody. Our pleasure.
Good night.